Alright, so once you feel fairly comfortable making a decent sound relatively consistently on the open string with your long strokes, and you know where to put the fingers, the left hand fingers, like this I showed you in the last video, right? So space here about an inch, a little over an inch, a little over an inch between first and second finger, and then the third finger right next to the second finger. Once you're comfortable with that as well, the next step is to combine the right and the left hands. So you're going to take the bow exercise I taught you, the long bow exercise with the short strokes. Since you're already fairly comfortable doing it on open string, now what you're going to do is you're going to practice it with each left hand finger down. The point here again is to learn how to make a beautiful sound with each finger, left hand finger down. So for example, if you took your first finger down on any string, it's fine. Same bow exercise. So on. And what I would do, what I really recommend is just like the open string, just get one finger on one string down. Just practice until you get into the groove. You might get into the groove a little faster than you did for the open string because you already are comfortable with the open string. However, for most people, the change in string pressure that happens when you start putting fingers down kind of throws them off. So just because you have the right hand down doesn't mean you'll be able to make a beautiful sound all the time, even when you put your left hand fingers down. And this is why we're doing this, so building this up so step by step and so slowly, is because you need to learn how to make that a beautiful sound with that bow exercise, one finger at a time. And once you've mastered the first finger, second finger, and third finger, don't worry about the pinky too much yet, although we need to add it later. When you do all three fingers very beautifully on one string, also practice this very same way on every other string. And probably as you go along, learning a new finger on a new string, will get a little easier just because you have more experience from before. But don't be frustrated at this point when you find that suddenly you have a new finger, new string, and you did well before an open string or something, some other finger, and you're having trouble. That is very normal. Putting a new finger down changes the length of the string, changes the pressure. So it's almost like starting over for the bow arm. Not quite. I mean, you've already trained yourself. But you really should not be frustrated. And the good news is that once you really master making a beautiful sound with each finger on each string, although there are many other notes you can play with the finger, you have the ability to make a beautiful sound with no fingers or with any finger on any string. And that's the first huge set of building blocks needed to play the songs you like without too much frustration. This is like having all the basic strokes of tennis down. This way you can have a rally with somebody and not be frustrated too much in like you don't know how to do a backhand and you have to run for the ball or run to your forehand to do it, miss the ball. You won't have that frustration. We will, of course, after the long strokes, move on to shorter strokes. And with the short strokes, and as we add more strokes, it will again be the equivalent of adding, let's say, volleys or something to your tennis game. You'll be able to go up to the net and do short strokes, that kind of thing. So, but first, doing this step-by-step work for all of your left hand fingers with these long, beautiful strokes is very important. So practice it the way I advise you to. Once you start a finger, start the bow exercise on that finger, don't stop it until you get into the groove. Always remember, stay relatively in the middle, between the bridge and the fingerboard, and keep your bow always straight.